A few years ago, I was working at a facility in a rural part of Louisiana. And I was asked to help them to come out and understand why they were having a rash of hand injuries right before lunch on Mondays. For some reason, people were cutting their hands or doing other things, pinching their fingers right before lunch on Mondays. So in the process of trying to diagnose and analyze this problem, I asked some questions, and I became aware of a tradition that they have in this part of rural Louisiana. And that is that families get together on Sunday and they all enjoy a meal of hot gumbo. Now, you know what gumbo is? Gumbo is a big stew where you put in just about everything but the kitchen sink. And people really enjoy their gumbo. And there's two characteristics of gumbo. One is that you have to eat it piping hot. And the second one is that when you make it, you usually make a heck of a lot, so there's always leftovers. Well, of course, what you do with the leftovers is you refrigerate them. But as it turned out, a lot of the employees that were working at this facility would bring in leftover gumbo that had been refrigerated overnight for lunch the following Monday. Now, you might be asking, what does a story about gumbo have to do with safety? Well, I'm getting to that point. As it turns out, when you chill the gumbo, it becomes kind of this congealed, gelatinous mess. All the fat floats to the top. And in order for it to be appetizing, you have to heat it up. And you can heat it up in a microwave, but it takes about 7 minutes to heat it up properly. Well, at this facility, everybody took their lunch at the same time. They had only 30 minutes for lunch. And in the lunchroom, they only had one microwave. So what would explain the rash of hand injuries occurring right before lunch on Mondays? Everybody wanted to be one of the first to the microwave so that they could eat a hot lunch. Do the math, right? 7 minutes per gumbo. 7 times 3 is 21. 7 times 4 is 28. Maybe 4 people could properly heat up their gumbo during the lunch period. But even the last one is only going to have 2 minutes to eat. So what were they doing? They were rushing. They were rushing to get to the lunchroom. So what is the solution? Do you tell people that they can't bring in gumbo? No, of course not. You add more microwaves. Maybe you stagger the lunch hour so that people are eating lunch at different times. Now, the moral of this story is that sometimes you need to make a systemic adjustment in order to make the safe behavior possible. And when we made this site aware of the problem that was happening, they were willing to make this adjustment, and it didn't require a very large investment. The reason that they hadn't seen this on their own is that they were simply too close to the circumstance. Sometimes you need a fresh set of eyes in order to see what's really going on